Hey, hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hi. Oops, I ended up taking a nap after work. I was way too tired waking up this morning at like 5 something for that Miku box. Gosh darn it though, I wish I could have gotten that fun merch. But no, they ran out of like the special stuff, but I got the deck in the end. It just took like 2 hours, it's okay though. Or at least a little bit over 2 hours since I woke up at like 5 something. The pre-order launched at 6. It's fine. I survived work real good. I lived. And now I'm ready to play more game. So time to finish up Corpusant Part 1 and then I can go to 1.5. The fifth element. The quintessence that makes up your everything. Within the palm of your hand. The dull sound of dripping water echoes rhythmically through the empty passageway. This sewer branch lies far enough from the previous main battlefield that is temporarily free from direct pursuit, forming a short-lived buffer zone. A few damaged emergency lights flicker at irregular intervals, providing only minimal visibility. Voymastina settles Helena into a concealed spot at the bend of the passageway. She herself stands against the wall, scanning the surroundings while initiating a rapid system self-diagnostic. Helena's metal spheres hover around her in defensive formation, her wary gaze tracking every movement Voymastina makes. Look at how good Voymastina is at watching Helena. What a great babysitter. #1 cook and #1 babysitter now. She keeps the maximum safe distance from Voymastina. While Alva is absent, her tension and vigilance are clearly heightened. Voymastina looks at Helena, her expression inscrutable. She lets out a soft sigh and drives a fist into the wall. The dull impact reverberates through the passageway. The metal structure dents visibly at once, the concrete layer beneath fractures, and a cloud of dust erupts from the point of impact. But why? Startled, Helena immediately snaps her 3 metal spheres together into a shield. Her body tenses, fear and defensiveness filling her eyes, ready to respond to any perceived threat. She looks ready to open fire if Voymastina makes even one more strange move. Understandable? Voymastina notices Helena's reaction. Her brow furrows, but she makes no attempt to comfort her. Her systems contain no protocols for building trust with non-combatants. She has never been good at this, and it has never been her responsibility. She looks at Helena, her neural cloud in disarray. Without Alva's guidance, she finds herself facing a severe decision-making dilemma. Voymastina exhales slowly, forcing herself to calm down. Although she understands Alva's plan, the plan itself carries an extremely high risk of failure. If it were only the two of them, even with that risk, it would still be manageable. But now there is a being right in front of her. She must consider that even the slightest misstep during the operation could result in O43 inevitably falling back into the hands of the Gerard Group and Paradeus. To the current task force of Phi, she is unquestionably trouble as well as a burden. Voymastina's assessment has not changed. Directly destroying O43 is still the most efficient and most thorough solution. Voymastina's gaze slowly shifts to Helena. If she destroys her on the spot, Gerard and Paradeus' Project Eden will permanently lose its key component. No matter what role O43 plays in that project, they'll be forced to seek other alternatives. And judging by the urgency and intensity of their encirclement and pursuit, O43's role is clearly not something easily replaceable. Discarding this burden would allow her to better leverage her own capabilities to assist Alva in completing the operation. She could even turn back and help Alva duel with Eagle directly, completing the operation as originally intended. From every angle, this is the most rational decision. All she has to do is eliminate her right here. But no, look at how cute she is! Helena remains on guard, but the defensive formation of the metal spheres loosens slightly. Alongside fear, a trace of cautious observation appears on her face. And hello. She is highly sensitive to changes in emotion and atmosphere. Maybe? This simple question is like a key, unlocking something sealed deep within Voymastina's neural cloud. She closes her eyes. Yes, she does have powerful orbs. Helena spreads the metal spheres protectively in front of herself with bravado. Voymastina's answer is short and direct.
お前を守ると約束したんだ。
At the same time, the tension in her frame subtly eases.
あの人帰ってくる？
Helena's clearly referring to Alva. The wary of both of them, Alva's more kindly demeanor seems to have formed the foundation of trust between them.
あ、
Voymastina's reply contains no hesitation, as though stating an established fact rather than a hope or guess. She slowly lowers her hand, resolve settling in. She is a member of Task Force Defy. She will always fulfill her promises. Voymastina's wolf eye performs a full-spectrum scan. Once she's confirmed that the surroundings are temporarily safe, she retrieves a small device from her tactical pack and starts fiddling with it. Helena's question still carries caution, but now also a faint hint of curiosity. The metal spheres remain in defensive state, no longer as poised to attack.
通信装置だ。
Voymastina answers curtly as she continues to tune the device.
通信装置邪魔じゃないのか？
It's a fancy thing. Voymastina glances at Helena, mildly surprised that she knows such a technical term.
いや、違う。
違う？
あ、
Teach the daughter. Babysitting answers each of the girls' questions, but unlike Alva's patient way of doing it, is with an air of indifference toward both the conversation and her interlocutor, responding almost robotically. Even so, for her, this is already remarkable progress. To Helena, Babystina's blunt manner of speech is unexpectedly reassuring. The two of them continue to talk in short, fragmented exchanges.
前たち楽園壊す
あ、
計画あるのか？
Yeah, the plan is to destroy it. Babystina's replies remain brief, but her demeanor has grown slightly milder. Helena takes a small step forward. She still maintains a safe distance, but the subtle approach signals the beginning of tentative trust. Cute! Voymastina watches Helena's cautious advance and recalls what her former partner would do in situations like this. After a moment's thought, she reaches out and places her hand on Helena's small head. Oh, was the head pat too much? Whoosh! Like a startled cat, Helena instantly recoils and darts behind cover. Oop! Voymastina decides to stop forcing herself to do things she is bad at.
ここは危ない。移動する。
どこ行く？
Though hiding from Voymastina, Helena continues to converse with her.
任務を終わらせに行く。
Voymastina replies curtly as she stands up and prepares to carry out Alva's plan. Helena hesitates, then follows behind her, still cautious but no longer openly hostile. Between the two very different figures, a subtle trust seems to be quietly taking root.
ついてこい。
Voymastina suddenly blurts this out. Her tone is as stiff as ever, but the words carry a promise. Or words themselves carry a promise. Helena doesn't respond. She simply follows along in silence. In the depths of the sewers, two figures, one tall and one short, move on. Yay. How nice. Look at them bonding. Wow, look, I finally unlocked Corpus Not 1.5. Amazing. Hello, hello. Time to start 1.5. Migredo of Putrefaction. The first step toward the truth lies in seeking the fundamentals amidst the darkness. Darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I sit on a sofa in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking down on the city of Lviv. As a white zone city, it is clean and a bright place. Compared to the previous green zone cities, it looks like the products of a completely different society. Lines of cars flow steadily down arterial streets, while corporate skyscrapers tower overhead. Everything here seems like it's completely disconnected from what lies beyond the quarantine walls. It looks even more developed than the major cities in my memories. Apparently, 10 years is plenty of time for a core city like this to accumulate all kinds of resources. Also, this is a 5-star hotel we're at, I'm pretty sure, so it's beautiful. Ah, it's your isekai darkness. If I hadn't been in the yellow zone all this time, the city would have convinced me the world was a better place compared to 10 years ago. I drag my focus back to reality. Behind me, Wolf is jumping up and down on the bed, making strange jerky noises as she bounces. I like how it's animated. Whee!
このベッドエルモ号のよりずーっと柔らかいですよ。
Oh, I'm jealous. I love soft beds. Hope launches herself too high and loses her balance, landing headfirst onto the mattress. Her neck makes a loud crack. Ah! Oh no, she broke her neck? Before she bounces off the bed and hits the ground? Ah, it's a good thing she's a medic. She can fix herself.
シーツが乱れたじゃない。
すみません、すぐ直します。
Hope climbs back to her feet and looks around the room in surprise as she begins making the bed.
それにしてもこの部屋すごく豪華ですね。指揮官ってもしかしてすごい人だったんですか？
いいえ、私もこんなのは初めてよ。
I want to stay in a fancy 5-star hotel one day.
エリアに流れ着く前はこういうところで暮らしてた
At least once in my life just to compare.
私を誰だと思ってるの？
Worst hotel I've ever been in was a hotel with bed bugs that I was bitten. So anything's better than that, really.
何か秘密を抱えてたりして。
Currently, we're in the penthouse suite of the Lviv Grand Intercontinental Hotel. Our accommodations are comprised of 3 rooms, 2 bedrooms, and a living room that doubles as a guest room. There's plenty of space here. In addition to the luxurious furniture, the suite is filled with gleaming works of art. Thanks to the pass, we haven't been hindered or searched once on our way here. In fact, the concierge handed us the keys to the suite without a second word. Municipal police eyed us a few times, 2 dolls at my side, our luggage raising flags, but each time, one glanced at our ID and they'd immediately backed off. Wow, this is a powerful ID. I have to say, this does feel quite novel compared to my usual way of life in the Yellow Zone. While groups who didn't take the same train as us, their reports indicate that their journey has been going quite well too. Wolf and Rosa help me put away the luggage, and they begin extracting all manner of items from them. Hope quickly checks her weapons and then puts them into the big safe deposit box inside the wardrobe. Meanwhile, Rosa begins connecting various pieces of electronics equipment in the living room. Before long, a brand new secure communication server is set up and ready to go. After powering up the Type 70 two-way low-frequency MES system, Rosa connects to an encrypted level 2 layer and establishes contact with the other teams.
指揮官、404とそよ風がセーフハウスに着いたわ。この後地
So far so good, or at least on our side.
出発前にルートを共有するよう伝えて。了解。そういえば、そろそろスプリングフィールドの定時連絡の時間よね。ええ、あと10分くらいよ。連絡が来たら教えて。
Rosa nods and then begins briefing Group 2. I take out a bottle of sparkling water from the fridge. The glass is crystal clear and it even has an intricate seal on its surface. I sigh. This bottle of water would probably cost a month's worth of mission earnings in the Yellow Zone. Oh no! I twist off the cap. The bitter liquid flows over my tongue and helps ease my fatigue a little. I hear teasing laughter over my earpiece. I quickly sweep my gaze over my surroundings, looking for hidden cameras. Just simply borrowing her visual feeds is all. I look behind me and sure enough, Kof is sitting on the bed and looking at me. I walk over to Kof and turn her head in the other direction. After ensuring Dandelion can't see me, I keep my earpiece and continue the transmission. Thank you for the check-in, Dandelion, but don't stare at me. I'm shy. Thank you, Dandelion. Oh my fucking Serena Stats dates! No! Don't make fun of my lack of money. How freaking dare you? Oh yeah, speaking of money, it's gonna be so funny next year getting a random charge at 156 or something like that. since I won't get charged for my Miku deck until it's ready. I choose to ignore Dandelion's theatrics.
第三世代人形とメラニーの様子は？
おとなしくしているわ。グローザ招待のメンバーがずっと監視してる。ジラードグループだけど、今日記者会見を開くらしいわ。気になる情報が出たら共有する。
ええ。
Thank you, Dandelion.
指揮官、スプリングフィールドから通信よ。
わかった。ダンデライオン、また何かあったら連絡して。
はいはい。
I nod to Groza, and she patches Springfield into my earpiece.
指揮官。
どうしたの？任務は順調？予定通りならカリンと合
You
流
alright,
したはず。
Springfield?
はい。隣にいます。ただ。
Springfield hesitates, and I sense that something's wrong.
カリーナさんは現在病院で治療を受けています。指揮官もリビアにいらしたのですね。お見舞いに来ていただけませんか？
病院？何が起きたの？
Springfield doesn't reply right away. I can hear someone whispering from beside her.
すみません。通信では説明しきれません。座標を送りました。カリーナさんもあなたに会いたがっています。
わかった。すぐ行く。
ご迷惑をおかけします。
そんなこと言わないで。あなたたちは無事？
はい。負傷したのは
Poor
カリーナさん
Kalina.
だけです。とにかく病院の入り口でお待ちしています。
ええ。
The transmission ends, and I begin thinking. Springfield mentioned that Colleen was in the hospital. Were the Zutero girls and Colleen attacked during the Helena handover? Alarms immediately go off in my head. If Helena could be snatched even in the white zone, it means Nova doesn't have much control over the situation in Lviv. That also implies that what Kruger said about putting the Gerard group on trial is probably not going to happen. I remember an incident in the city of Belgrade. It strikes me that I have nowhere near enough forces on hand to handle a clash of that level.
グローザ、この座標に向かうわよ。
これは病院？どうしたの？
カリンが詳細はわからないけど、スプリングフィールドが知らせてくれた。ヘレナの引き渡しがうまくいかなかったんだと思うわ。多分襲撃。
襲撃？ヘレナちゃんは？
わからない。とにかく急ごう。そよ風はホテルに残って情報収集。404は少し距離を空けて一緒に来るよう伝えて。
了解。全員に連絡するわ。
Thank you, Groza.
指揮官の装備を用意して。
病院だからハンドガンだけでいい。404は通常装備を携行。警察に目をつけられないで。
Groza and Kof nod, then begin working on their respective tasks. I rub my temples, feeling grateful for my instincts. Of course, my trip to Lviv. Yeah, it wouldn't be that easy. The taxi drops us off at the main gate of the hospital, but what surprises me is that it looks like nothing like what I imagined. It doesn't look like a hospital so much as another hotel. Fancy. The main courtyard's lush greenery speaks of careful landscaping, while the corridor to the hospital interior remains nearly empty of foot traffic. I head toward the front door. Springfield is there already, and she has clearly been waiting for a while.
お待ちしていました。
I'm sorry for the wait.
指揮官。
Rosa and Clove nod to Springfield, but I'm more concerned about just what exactly happened to them.
状況は？
すみません。カリーナさんと合流した時に襲われました。
ジラードグループ。
ここから先は私が話そう。
Kruger walks out from inside the building, wearing a formal suit. His face is gloomy, which is unlike how he was when I last saw him.
クルーガーさん、あなたまで。
私にもこの状況を招いた責任が。
Yeah, man, what happened?
中で話そう。ついてこい。
Kruger turns and heads inside. I follow him without a word. Inside the corridor, I see several men in suits speaking into their lapels. They eyes warily. I see a few quiet words to Groza, having her remind 404 not to end up clashing with Kruger's people. Groza nods and begins speaking with them in level 2. At the end of the corridor, Kruger opens a door. There's a small reception room beyond, and another door on the far side of that one. My instincts tell me that Kalina should be in there. A petite doll standing in the corner of the reception room, her hand raised in greeting. Naturally, I won't be surprised to find her here. Leva walks over to a nearby sofa, her hands behind her back, which is ramrod straight. The other dolls silently move to her side while I settle into one sofa facing Kruger. Kruger takes a seat and sighs heavily. Then he looks up, awaiting my questions.
クルーガーさん、一体何が？
お前の予想通りヘレナの引き渡しをジラードに邪魔された。
ヘレナは？
無事というのも語弊があるな。どんな手を使ったのかは不明だが、引き渡し現場を包囲された途端、カリーナ含め
Unknown radiation weapon.
謎の放射線を受けて気絶した。戦術人形が応戦し、ヘレナは奪われずに済んだ。
それじゃあヘレナは？
ここにはいない。反逆正体の人形2名によって連れ去られた。
反逆正体？
詳細は当事者に聞くといい。リバの記録が最も信憑性があるだろう。
Leva nods, then takes a step forward and offers me a tablet.
久しぶりね、指揮官。
Hi.
当時の状況を再生するわ。
The tablet contains Leva's visual logs. Their standoff with the Gerard forces to the two Divide dolls moving with Helena. Leva goes over the events in the video as they play out before me.
ジラードは倉庫を包囲し、ヘレナの強奪を試みたが、突然現れた反逆正体によってヘレナは連れ去られた。
ええ。
It must be interesting seeing that scene through Leva's POV.
初手から未知のコーラップス粒子を散布して味方の行動を阻害してきたわ。向こうの指揮官はとんでもなく強い第三世代人形よ。AK-15 相手に互角以上だった。
何？
これを見て。
In the video, I see AK-15 clashing with a doll in a fancy dress. For a moment, AK-15 is at a disadvantage. There's an explosion and then Defy is nowhere to be seen.
交戦後、彼女たちはヘレナを連れて下水道に逃げた。その直後に下水道はジラードに封鎖されたわ。
ホワイトエリアの目の前で非軍事勢力管理局の人間を襲ったというの？
カリーナたちは最初は機械に襲われたのだが、ほどなくしてあの人形が警察と共に現れた。傍から見れば通報を受けて出動しただけに過ぎない。
そんな。
だが事実、奴らは何の法律も条例も破っていない。ジラードグループの総裁にも連絡したのだが、部下の暴走の一点張りだ。
Fair dude.
しらしらしい。
だが奴は保身で精一杯のはずだ。こちらを襲う理由はない。敵も一枚岩ではないのだろう。いずれにせよ同じことが起きないよう圧力をかけておく。ヘレナはこちらが全力で連れ戻す。反逆の元にいるなら無事なはずだ。
Relatively safe, yeah. With her best babysitter, Voymastina.
ジラードに奪われないようとっさにやったことだろう。実際ヘレナは奪われずに済んだ。反逆は保安局を抜けたが、今でも連絡は取れるのだが、なぜかずっと沈黙している。いい気がしない。
In the past, Melanie said that StateSec agents had tried to rescue her, and Defy is closely linked to StateSec. Perhaps they were involved with Helena's situation before I was, but I still can't bring myself to relax until I see Helena safe. Of course. Noting my frown, Kruger stands up and pats me on my shoulder. After seeing me raise my head, he points to the inner door and speaks to me.
ヘレナの件はこちらに任せてくれ。お前はカリーナに顔を見せてこい。あそこの病室だ。ひどく落ち込んでいる。元気づけられるのはお前しかいない。
Poor Helena.
はい。ゆっくり話してきます。
I nod and rise to my feet. Wolf moves to follow me, but Leva raises a hand to stop her.
二人っきりにしてあげて。
Wolf looks at Groza in confusion, but Groza nods to Wolf too, so she obediently returns to her previous place. I open the door and find Lena sitting on the bed.
指揮官だ。
Lena lightly shakes the person lying on the bed, but she doesn't respond. Oh, is she sleeping? Helena wraps herself in her blanket, crawling into a cocoon with her back turned to me. She shows no sign of responding to Lena. Oh, never mind, not sleeping, but...
私に任せて。
Lena nods to me, then hops off the bed and heads outside.
ちゃんと話してね。
After whispering in my ear, Lena steps outside and closes the door behind her. I gulp. It sounds simple enough, but I can't help but feel nervous about it. After calming myself down and pulling myself together, I dress the head of the sickbed in a voice as natural as I can manage.
カリン、大丈夫?
Hello, hello? I creep to her bedside and rise on my tiptoes, trying to glimpse at her face. Colleen seems to realize what I'm trying to do and covers her face with a blanket. Soft sniffles escape from behind the fabric. Aw, poor Kalina. I sigh quietly and take my seat beside her bed, waiting for her to emerge. The ward is filled with an almost unbearable silence, which only makes me more aware of how out of place I am here. I have to say something to break this deadlock, and with that in mind, I decide to speak.
そういえば、まだあのやたら安い闇ブローカーを使っているの？あそこまで安いと、ちょっと不安になるわよね。
Well, this is one way to strike up a topic.
でもカリンは昔から経費に厳しいから、らしいといえばらしいけど、3時になっても、やっぱり
Look at you being so thrifty.
そんなわけないでしょ。
Upon hearing this, Kalina is so annoyed that she pops her head out of the blankets and glares at me. Oh, that worked.
指揮官様にいい加減な闇ブローカーを紹介するわけないじゃないですか。いくらなんでもひどすぎます。
Her tears from just now are still welling up in her eyes. Without her blazer, Kalina's angry expression can't hide that glimpse of youth and innocence I remember. She seems to catch herself. In an instant, the sheets are yanked back over her face, her hands swiping hastily at tear-streaked cheeks.
もうまた昔みたいにからかって。
I sorry.
怒る元気があって安心したわ。
Now that Kalina isn't going to retreat under the covers for the time being, I finally have the chance to have a proper conversation with her. In an attempt to ease the awkwardness in the air, I look at the fruit basket near the head of the bed. There's apples and a fruit knife there.
リンゴ食べる?
I wonder what apple she has. Which flavor? Kalina lowers her head without saying anything. Then she nods in silence. I pick up one apple and begin removing its skin. Meanwhile, Kalina's eyes are fixed on the apple. I hand her the peeled apple. Kalina takes a bite of it, and then the tears start flowing once again. Was the apple that bad?
ごめんなさい。私はヘレナさんを守れませんでした。
Her voice is very soft, but every word oozes self-loathing and regret. I don't know how to console her. After thinking for a moment, I muster up a simple reply.
ヘレナなら反逆正体と一緒にいる。ジラードに奪われずに済んだ。
Yeah, she must be thinking about the apple's mascot.
あなたの方が。
Ah, it's the sugar bee
私なんかど
apple.
うでもいいです。
そんなわけないでしょ。
Stinker.
ヘレナさんを二度も奪われてしまった。もうあなたに合わせる顔が。
そんなこと言わないで。大丈夫。
Yeah, we'll get Helena back.
ええ、信じています。あなたならヘレナさんを連れ戻すどころか連れ去った敵もまとめて懲らしめるでしょうね。
She can
昔から
have a
そうで
near-death
した。
experience without losing her cool. But should you mock your skills in recommending people to you? Helena folds her knees against her chest and buries her face in them.
でも私はあなたのようには弾薬の整理や報告書をまとめる方が好きなのに、そんな場所すら私にはもうないんです。だから嫌なことでもやるしかないのに、自分一人の力でも何かを変えられると証明しないといけないんです。でも
Ooh, stuff she likes to do is stuff that I hate. I don't like writing reports and sorting things.
どんなに頑張っても何も変わらなかった。どれだけ犯罪者を
Oh, she was a shopkeeper and obsessed with money. No wonder why the comment would make her upset.
自分の周りすら良くならない。どうしてですか？
Purple sounds fun so far. It's nice being able to learn more about Alva and Voymastina. Also, hi, Igla. Helena viciously clutches the sheets, and the wrinkles in them only grow deeper as she uses more force.
指揮官様が消えた時すごく怒りました。どうして私にも何も言ってくれなかったんですか。
Surprisingly, no, we're spoiled.
手まといになるから。
いいえ、そうじゃないの。
All I know is that there's a cool song. I pause for a moment, and then I decide to tell her.
今まで十分苦しんできたあなたにまでこんな先の見えない生活をさせたくない。もう戦いに巻き込まれる必要は。
指揮官様の目には私が映っていなかったんです、ね。
Poor Helena.
いつまでも子供扱いして。
How dare you not look directly
生理
at
科管理
me?
局に入った時あなたの経歴を見させていただきました。それで悟ったんです。
I guess I learned from this
あなた
conversation
のそばに立つ
with how we
資格
treated Mailing in that other event.
は私にはない。
Since you're more honest.
私なんか
Hehe.
犠牲になった人々
Oh,
の
she was an
足元
orphan
に
living in
も及ばない
poverty until Mr. Kruger adopted her.
違いますか。でももう責めたりしません。私のことを考えて決めたのは知っていますから。今の立場になってから指揮官がロレンに失望した理由も。
Thank you, Helena. Thank you for understanding. Helena raises her head to look at me, and in her eyes I see a complex mix of emotions: frustration, regret, longing, and hope.
ごめんなさい。本当はこんなことに巻き込むべきではありませんでした。ただこの依頼をきっかけにあなたとまた一緒にお仕事できればと思って。
Aw, she missed us that much.
昔みたいな関係に戻れるのではないかと。例えば指揮官様が
She wants to get
管
back
理局に入
together.
って
Oop.
正面作戦を指揮するあなたを私がサポートするみたいなこともあり得たかもしれません。
At least she knows it wasn't abandonment. Or now, anyways. After saying that, the hope in her eyes fades, replaced by helplessness and resignation.
でも一方であなたにまた戦わせるのは億劫でした。この世界に希望などなく全てが
There's no
誰か
hope
の
in
シナリオ
sight.
通りに進んでいる。
Oof.
正義、平等、解放、どれも虚像です。
It's all fear, all
財
pain.
団がどれだけ力を持とうが壁外の人間が知ることはありません。初めてあなたと通信した際私も全てを投げ出してエルモ号に乗ろうかと想像しました。
Wow, she wants to run away together.
失うものなどないのですから果たすべき責任がなければ今すぐにでも。
ごめんカリン。あなたにはいろいろと背負わせすぎた。もしやり直せるなら。
いいえ。
Who stands more of a chance of getting with SKK, the human in the hospital, or the
自分
various
のこと
dolls
すら
around
構わな
them?
いような人ですから。たとえやり直す機会があったとしてもあなたは同じ
You
選
know,
択を
all
し
the
た
above.
でしょ。
All
私も
equal
そういう人
opportunities.
間になりたいんです。茨の道になることは承知の上けれど。
Helena can't bring herself to go on. She picks up the apple and bites down on it, then offers it to me. Wow, I get to eat the rest? Thank you. Munch munch. I take it without hesitation and take a bite too. Indirect kiss. Oh my. Helena smiles in a complicated way. She wipes her tears and speaks to me.
やっぱりあなたは優しいですね。
Apple.
今の私にその優しさは一人にしてください。
Hello, hello. Helena lies back down and covers her face with her blanket. I don't know what to say right now. Words bubble up inside me but die on my tongue. I put the apple on the table and stand up, but she doesn't react. All I can do is turn away, open the door, and leave the room. Huger is waiting for me right outside.
様子は？
一人にしてと言われました。
カリーナは負けず嫌いな上に責任感が人一倍強い。今回はお前も絡んでいる分より答えたのだろう。
私にできることはありますか？
そうだな。
Shut Shave his mustache, nah. Unless we shave it off in one go and then I can keep it. I'll put it on. As though he knew I'd ask that question, Kruger turns away and picks up a folder, which he hands to me.
ジラードグループの資料だ。お前の方でもジラードとパラデウスが手を組んでいることと楽園計画の存在についても知っているはずだ。
楽園計画？一体何なの？
それをこれから調べる。表向きはコーラップス汚染と再生エネルギーの研究プロジェクトだ。責任者はジラードグループ総裁の娘、オルフェルーネ。
オルフェルーネ？
オルフェルーネ？
ああ、今日の記者会見で計画の詳細を発表する予定だ。本来はカリーナが接触しに行くはずなのだが。
Kruger looks towards the ward.
今は休養が何より大事だ。お前に代役を頼めないか？
何をすれば？
記者に偽装してオルフェルーネに接触し、知っていることを聞き出せ。
I gotta build a relationship with
彼女の
Orpheloon.
身の安全にはくれぐれも注意を払ってくれ。
Okay, so seduce the Orpheloon. Got it.
とはパラデウス関連の証拠を渡してもらう約束をした。
Or protect her.
それを阻止するために総裁の娘を標的にする輩がいてもおかしくない。
なら保護すればいいのでは？
まだやらなければいけないことがある。それが終わるまで管理局とジラードのつながりが世に出るリスクは避けたい。メディアがどう捉え拡散するか分かったものじゃないからな。
世論ですか。わかりました。
Lulu.
ああ、リワには情報面で支援させる。どう動くかはお前の勝手だ。お前の持ち込んだ武器や人形で事足りると思うが、必要なものがあれば知らせろ。
了解。反逆とヘレナについて新しい情報があれば教えてください。
無論だ。
Kruger pauses for a moment.
よく戻ってくれた。やはりお前がいると心強いな。
戻ってはいません。任務は必ず成功させます。
Nice. Albedo of purification. The second step lies in the cleansing of impurities. After passing through multiple layers of security checks, I find myself standing at the entrance of the Gerard group. Oops, forgot to turn off auto. Yeah, the Gerard group's HQ. I take a deep breath. The building's interior surprises me more than the entire city of Lviv. The floors are so clean that they're practically shining. Holographic time displays hang in the air, and I'm surrounded by the faint sense of disinfectant. All this fills me with an instinctive sense of discomfort. As my first impression, the internal layout of the building projects a glimpse of the future. Except the future isn't for everyone. Looking at the milling throng at the building's entrance, I silently give thanks that I'm a VIP access corridor. Or I'm in the VIP access corridor. There are few people in the express corridor, so I'm able to bring the dolls in without drawing much attention. I try to loosen my collar as I walk in. It feels like a noose. While muttering to myself, my hand reflexively reaches to my waist where my handgun ought to be. However, there's nothing but a well-made fountain pen and a press pass there. I'm currently wearing a suit on loan from the hotel. Macchiato spent 3 full hours trying to reshape my image. Aw, thanks Macchiato! From my mannerisms to etiquette knowledge, it's like she was completely reinventing my persona. Still, it feels less like putting on a suit of ill-fitting clothes than wearing a skin that isn't mine. The businessmen behind me clear their throats and glare in displeasure. I didn't even realize I'd been standing too long in front of the security checkpoint entrance. Ooh, this time I'm a ace journalist. Hey, I'm a journalist with good posture. Even more roleplay. Yeah, editors. Chief editors could get nervous. I shrug off the annoyed looks behind me and lead the dolls to the HQ of the Gerard group. Once I'm in the entrance hall, the lavish facade is gone, replaced by cold inspection devices and stern-looking security personnel. We still have 6 hours until the Gerard Group's Technology Summit. The main conference hall inside the building has already been set up. guided by the signage and the receptionist, the summit attendees and press personnel file into the venue and make their preparations. Identity verified. Disguised as a media team from the Shining Age news agency, we undergo identity verification procedures at the security checkpoint. As editor-in-chief, I am trailed by Groza and Kof. Are they my secretaries? After verifying our identities, the receptionist leads us inside. There's a pre-summit tea gathering happening on the other side of the glass wall. The receptionist stops near a stairwell, then hands me a card with a smile. Ooh, a suite! So fancy! Also, I want tea. I'll take some tea, please. What a nice receptionist. Good information. Fantastic customer service. 5-star review. I smile at the receptionist. The rest of the team and I watch as they leave.
他の人形たちは武器を食事に紛れ込ませて搬入している。建物の向こう側で待機しているわ。準備が完了したら来る会が連絡してくれる。わかった。うまくいくといいわね。
I hope nothing goes wrong on their end.
まずは万一に備えて様子見よ。
The commander was pretty effective when they went undercover as Robin.
ジラードの令嬢さんだけど。
I take out her ID photo and study it carefully.
どこかで見たような。
会ったことあるの？
そんなはずないんだけど、初めてな気がしないの。気のせいかな。
Deja vu. After giving myself a quick once-over, we decide to mingle with the other attendees to try and figure out what's going on. Ooh, fancy. A steady stream of researchers and scientists are entering the venue hall. Some of the more prominent, famous, and senior ones are being mobbed by pressmen trying to tease scoops out of them. Elsewhere, the researchers who are newer to the industry are gathered in front of the refreshments table, seemingly exchanging gossip. I send Rose and Kof out to conduct fake interviews while I try to find Orphalune among the attendees. However, nobody who resembles my objective appears even as I make a circle around the venue. As I'm drifting aimlessly around the hall, I spot a group of young men discussing something. They're simply dressed, but with a distinct academic air. I pretend to consult a Gerard Group prospectus while eavesdropping on the conversation.
先生がインタビューに答えてる時の顔見たか？
ああ、便秘みてえな顔してたな。どうせオルフェルーネのこと聞かれたんだろ。
Orphalune?
やっぱ若き天才ってのは注目されるんだな。
Upon hearing the keyword Orphalune, I surreptitiously move closer to them for a clearer picture of what they're discussing.
研究といえども結局金だな。あの年で大枚はたいて研究所を作って先生みたいなベテランをも助手にしてそりゃ成功するわ。はあ、親ガチ当たってれば。
If only my parents were hard to give me money. How dare they? The students chat casually, all seeming to be around Orphalune's age according to your resume. Though her impressive achievements clearly make them uneasy about this exceptional peer.
先月のインタビュー読んだか？
ああ、今までの経歴について話したやつでしょ。先生に読んでみ習えって強く言われたわ。こんな出来のいい生徒がいれば退職金の心配もしなくていいのにとかぼや言ってたけど。
まだ50代なのにもう老後の心配かよ。
まあそんなもんじゃない。天才様とは違うしね。
ところでさ、オルフェルーネって本当にフランクフルト試験の生き残りなのか？か
Ooh.
っこつけるために持ったんじゃないか。
どうだ
She'd
ろう
probably
な。
lie about it if she looks familiar to
10
us.
年前と言ったら俺はまだ中学生だし、事件の話もテレビで流れてたことくらいしか知らない。
いや、さすがに持ってるだろ。あの試験に生き残るなんてもっとマシな嘘をつくべきだ。
They end up talking more about Orphalune, but I've already tuned them out. I became lost in those decade-old memories from that moment they mentioned that word. The flames of the NSU's war burned from Moscow all the way to Frankfurt. The fragile illusion of peace was shattered by the hands of the people themselves. The scorched earth was soaked in the blood of the fallen. Countless lives are reduced to nothing more than sacrificial lambs. Alarms, gunsmoke, ruins. Mothers in despair, weeping children, dolls fleeing in all directions. And then there were the memories from Nirvana being opened.
編集長
The blurriness.
編集長
When I come to my senses, I see a cove looking at me with anxiety in her eyes. The Frankfurt incident was the event that led to the official formation of the URNC, a rogue faction of the neo-Soviet military launched an attack on Frankfurt and massacred civilians. Wah! The venue hall has grown noisier before I realized it. A large-scale pre-conference interview begins as the media personnel begin arriving. Flashbulbs and cameras are going off all around me. While I figure nobody remembers my face anymore, I should probably avoid exposing myself excessively to photographic and video recording equipment.
ちょっと風に当たってくる。あなたたちは引き続き監視を。オルフェルーネが現れたら教えて。
はい
I quickly dart around the packed crowd, through the revolving door and arrive at the rooftop balcony outside the venue. The balcony is much quieter compared to the inside of the venue hall. A gentle breeze caresses my face and briefly frees me from my chaotic thoughts. The news I just heard sparks an explosion of thoughts in my head, my mind. Paradise was secretly using the incident to have enough blood sacrifices to open the gate to Nirvana. Ah, no wonder why. Nirvana was mentioned, and fully rebirthed the goddess Lunacia. Orpheloon. So she was a survivor of Frankfurt after all. If that's true, then what role did she play when she was there? Was she a civilian? A scholar? A soldier? Or was she a member of Paradise? Did this Project Eden she's working on now grow from seeds planted back then? Is a dazzling CV of hers hide an involvement with Paradise? Or is she just another Paradise leader thrust into the stage after William made his exit? As I lose myself in my thoughts, a voice suddenly shatters a piece on the balcony.
本日はご来場いただき誠にいや違うこうしてお集まりいただいたのは科学の奇跡を共にいや硬すぎる
A lot of people died in Frankfurt because of what can only be described as a really desperate discon.
この場をお借りして全然違う
The voice comes from the other side of the balcony. There's a small gazebo here, half hidden by the shrubbery. I turn to look at it and see someone pacing there, seemingly frustrated about something.
バカバカバカどうして挨拶くらいでこんなに手こずらなきゃいけないの
Speeches are difficult. A young woman's voice reaches my ears, followed by the sound of a stack of papers hitting the ground hard.
原稿が悪いわ私のスタイルと全然合ってないオルフェルーネ様はもっとエレガントでブリリアントな発表をするべきよ
I silently study the sudden speaker. While I'm still some distance away from her, my instincts tell me that she is my target. That said, I didn't expect to encounter my mission objective here at all. It's hard to believe that she, the daughter of the Gerard Group's chairman, would actually go around without a bodyguard by her side. The girl calling herself the Great Orpheloon is nothing like the elegant and confident scientist mentioned in my files. Even her appearance doesn't match up too well with her picture. I continue approaching and finally manage to get a good look at her. What shocks me is how young she looks, like a freshly graduated university student. She is currently stomping the ground in frustration, trying to pick up her scattered papers, but then a sudden gust of wind ruins her plans.
原稿が待って
Oh, she's cute! I love her hairstyle! Panicked, she goes after the wind-tossed papers like a kitten chasing a butterfly. As one of them drifts over the edge of the balcony, she leans out to get it.
危ない
As I see her about to fall off the side of the balcony, I stop caring about whether she's my mission objective, and break into a sprint. I grab her collar with one hand and pull her back from the brink, while snatching the fluttering sheet of paper out of the air with the other. Yo, very impressive. This is gonna make a great first impression. I hope. She stumbles under the sudden tug, but soon finds her footing before turning to face me. Said face is youthful and delicately featured. Her turquoise eyes would normally be glittering with wisdom and pride, but they're currently filled with surprise and a hint of embarrassment.
誰いつからいたの
I didn't mean to listen in.
すみません。
Yeah, didn't mean to do this. No.
バルコニーから落ちそうだったからつい。
I hand her the paper I'm holding and she snatches it back, her face flushing a bright pink.
この私がそんな間抜けなわけないじゃない。
Ah, yes. Just checking the direction of the wind.
そう、風向きを確認してただけ。
風向き？
そうよ。科学者たるもの、周辺の環境には常に気を払うべきよ。例えば今は風速 5.3 メートルの南西風、湿度は 43%。
Wow, humidity only at 43%? Amazing. She discreetly smooths out her ruffled clothes and her hair as she speaks. The panic she doesn't even try to hide makes it all seem very performative. I can't help but frown. Is she putting on an act?
なるほど。髪良ければ拾いますが。
She hesitates for a moment.
いいわ。手伝わせてあげる。でも機密が書かれてるから絶対に読んじゃダメだからね。
かしこまりました。オルフェルーネ様。
Yep, oh great
知って
Orpheloon.
るの？
さっきそう自称していたと記憶しています。いえ、そもそもジラードグループの誇る天才で、今回のサミットの主役の一人であるあなたを知らない人はいないでしょう。
That said, the fine details of her current appearance are completely different from her photographs. That's probably why all the pressmen present at the venue didn't realize that she was the real deal.
そうね。この天才科学者の時間をこんなくだらない社交の場に費やすなんて生産性がないにも程があるわ。
だからここに
I wanna
隠れ
do
て
her
発表会
hairstyle.
の練習を。
あなた誰なの？まさかパパラッチ？スキャンダルでもつかむつもり？やば。さっき言ったこと表に出したら許さないわよ。
確かに記者ですが、そんなゲスなことはしません。実を言うと、私も堅苦しい雰囲気が苦手でして、それで避難しに来たら。
The more hairstyles, the merrier. Understanding seems to dawn on her face. Sympathy and understanding flash through her eyes. Her mood does seem a little mercurial for someone of her status.
わかる。しょうがないわね。とりあえず信じてあげる。
発表。緊張なさってるんですか？
そんなわけない
Never
でしょ。
underestimate the power of
これく
SKK
らい
Riz aura.
このオルフェルーネ・ジラードにとっては日常茶飯事よ。
Despite her words, she ends up crumpling the paper in her hands.
大勢の専門家の前で研究成果を発表するのは確かに気が引けます。今まで取材させていただいた方々も大勢を前にすると緊張するとおっしゃっ
Yes,
てい
I've
ました。
interviewed many world-class experts.
本当に？
Truly professional.
むしろそれは聴衆のことを気にかけている少佐とも言えるでしょう。
連中が聞きたいのは天才科学者の発表よ。でもこの原稿、こんなの私の言葉じゃない。
ではなぜご自分で用意をしないのですか？
私の話を理解してくれる人がいないからよ。
Her expression grows complicated. It seems she's recalling an unpleasant experience.
前に一度自分で原稿を用意したけど、助手があれは災難だったって。
How bad
そ
could
の
her
発表の後、
could it have
あの
been?
手この手で映像記録を抹消したそうよ。
災難？
光量子もつれの研究で非ユークリッド位相空間に存在する色素分子のメタサーフェスを発見したわ。それはネゲントロピーを利用してダークエネルギーを生物エネルギーへと変換する能力を有し、超弦理論に基づいた11次元世界の法則で。興味ある？
Oof! Orpheloon seems to sense my awkwardness and smiles nonchalantly.
ほら、ほとんどの人は知識そのものに興味ない。
Sorry, Orpheloon.
内容というより伝え方の問題では？
どういう意味？
抽象的な言葉は大衆には響きません。もっとみんなが想像しやすい事柄で例えることはできませんか？
Orphalun, you can teach, you can talk about what you want, but you gotta think about it as explaining it to, let's say, a
そ
kindergartner.
れで
Ta-da!
例えば日光以外にも放射線をエネルギー源にすることができて有害物質を養分に変えられるなんてどう？
Her eyes begin to light up, and she grows more and more animated. She begins gesticulating and describing just how her research could change the biosphere in contamination zones.
上々です。これなら誰もが興味を持つでしょう。
本当に適当なこと言ってない？
本当ですとも。少なくとも私は非常に興味があります。
私の研究内容知ってるの？
ええ、何を隠そう。あなたの専門である植物学は私の取材テーマなんですよ。植物の二重性によるコーラップス粒子の吸収は特に面白い。
分かってくれる記者がいるなんて理解のあるメディアが科学を取り上げるのは
He's so
科学者
excited.
として喜ばしいことよ。
認めていただけたようで何よりです。実はあなたが研究している植物をこの目で見たことがあります。
え、本当に？
見た目がエピフィラムに似たものですよね。
どうしてそれを？まさか私の実験施設に入
No,
ったこと
haven't
があ
plugged
る
in
の？
there.
実験施設？
あれはあの施設にしかないもの。よその人間が知ってるのはおかしい。
Orphalun begins muttering to herself, and then it seems like she realized something.
あなたまさか企業スパイ？まさか本当に送り込まれるなんて。
いいえ、ID と招待状です。これで疑惑が晴れるかは分かりませんが、一応。
偽造品じゃなさそうね。
Orphalun pouts as she studies my ID. Just as the mood in the air begins to turn strange, I hear a contralto voice from the balcony entrance.
お嬢様、ここにいらしたのですね。
Oh, hi, Igla. I turn to look and see a tall, dignified woman who's shown up at some point. Up there at some point. She's impeccably dressed, but her gaze is razor sharp.
見つかった。
Orphalun shudders, looking for all the world like a child caught with her hand in the cookie jar.
イグラ違うの。ちょっと風に当たってただけで。
サミットまであと3時間。発表の準備は順調ですか？
I love how elegant
最後
Igla
に
is.
もう一度確認してただけよ。
The doll called Igla sighs in exasperation and gives Orphalun a doting look. Then she bends down and helps pick up her dropped papers.
何かお困りのようですね。
平気よ。私一人で解決できるわ。
無論、あなたの能力を疑うつもりはありません。それよりも、これ以上スタイリストを待たせない。
Makeup artist and stylist. Ooh, fancy. Igla reaches out to straighten Orphalun's rumpled hair, or rumpled
今
collar.
着ている白衣も、この場にはふさわしくありません。ドレスにお着替えください。
でもドレスなんか窮屈だし。
これもジラードのためですよ。我慢しましょう。
As she says that, Igla's gaze briefly sweeps over me. There's a hint of warning and displeasure in it.
どなたかは存じませんが、お嬢様のお相手をしていただきありがとうございました。
礼には及びません。オルフェルーネさんとお話できて光栄でした。
She politely extracts a name card from her breast pocket and hands it to me.
お嬢様の専門分野にご興味がおありでしたらぜひ明日のセミナーにお越しください。予約が必要になりますが。
Her tone is cool and polite, but the judgment and caution are evident in her gaze.
そうだ。あなたお名前は？
輝きの時代の編集長でございます。さっき ID をお見せしたはずです。
She knows I'm attempting to seduce Orphalun. Ah, that gaze.
偽造かどうかだけ気にしてたからつい。発表聞きに来てくれる？
お嬢様、時間です。
質問があれば終わった後に聞きに来てもいい
How
わよ。
dare you approach my daughter alone on the balcony? Igla guides Orphalun away, but the latter looks back, clearly excited. Igla follows Orphalune's gaze. Her voice is gentle, but the warning in her tone becomes more and more evident as she speaks.
では編集長、今宵の宴をどうぞお楽しみください。ただし、くれぐれも領分を履き違えることのないようお願いします。
もうまたそうや
Orphalune,
って
don't make my job more difficult for me.
申し訳ありません。
Ooh, you love Thurgeon dolls. Ooh, nice for sextons. B6. 9 affection, her outfit too. And the accessory. Beautiful. The two of them vanish to the balcony entrance. I'm still standing there, feeling the weight of the information in that brief exchange. Orphalune is far more innocent and defenseless than my data suggests. Of course, that could just be an act. Meanwhile, there's Igla, the Gerard group's strongest doll. She probably doesn't even know who I am, but she was clearly repulsed by how I approached Orphalune. From the Gerard group files I saw the combat footage Leva showed me, I conclude that this Thurgeon doll is very likely to be our trickiest foe yet. Seeing as how understaffed we are at the moment, it would be best not to arouse her suspicion for now. I study the card Eagle left me. In addition to the usual contact information, there's a line of small letters. Science runs on curiosity, but danger often begins there too. Choose wisely. Is this a threat? The Trinitas of Refinement. The third step lies in extracting the treasure known as truth. Conference time, I'm assuming. There's still some time until the preparations begin, and there doesn't seem to be any more news worth overhearing. The dolls and I return to our room to plan our next move. My conversation with Orphalune just now has given me a basic impression of her, while the presence of the third gen doll has given me serious doubts about her upcoming mission, or about our upcoming mission. Being guarded by such a powerful doll all but confirms Orphalune's standing as heir, yet her reaction and way of speaking raise some doubt in me. She seems to have total faith in what she's studying. It makes me think that she's genuinely believes she's doing a good thing. I don't smell the stench of Paradise's lies and evil coming from her. Instead, she feels too innocent? At the moment, it's difficult for me to tell if she's being genuine or if it's just an elaborate act. It seems I need to find a way to make further contact with her. I'm gonna hope it's genuine, not an act. The sound of footsteps comes from outside our suite as I ponder my encounter from just now. There's a series of knocks on the door. Rosa gets up to open it.
すみません。少しよろしいでしょうか。
I would definitely want some Igla. The staffer holds up a tote bag in his hand. Its velvety silk material is finely made up and features the logo of the summit. Ooh, freebie! Yo, I love freebies, especially free bags. It's so nice. Wow. Even snacks. I gesture to Groza and take the bag. After seeing this bring it inside, the staffer nods, then smiles while executing a bow before trying to leave. Once the sounds of footsteps outside the door fade away, I shoot Groza a look. Groza cautiously opens the bag. Just as the staffer said, the bag contains an exquisite gift box. The first layer contains many pretty-looking desserts, while the second has the latest smart device from the Gerard Group's notable subsidiary brand, released just last month. Groza and Kolf inspect the gift box and even take apart the smart device, but they don't find anything suspicious. I want the snacks. Also new cell phone. The bag was tossed aside after its contents were extracted. Currently, it lies in a limp heap on the corner of the dresser. Or at least, it should be limp without anything inside to support it, yet there's a little bulge under its velvety surface. Check out my bag's bulge. Rosa picks up the bag and inverts it, but nothing falls out. She then turns it inside out and feels around the site of the bulge. Ooh, secret lining. I take it from her and feel around the place Groza indicated. Sure enough, there seems to be something hidden inside it. Clearly someone cut it open and then sewed it back together again. I rip the seam open and take out the object inside the bag's lining. There's a little box in my hand with a work ID reading, Special Invitation. Ooh.
見せて。
I hand the device to Groza. She fiddles with it for a moment but doesn't seem to find any issues with it. Then she takes a small slip of paper out from behind the ID.
面倒事があったらこれを使って頑張ってね。
What a nice present.
指揮官、ジラードグループに知り合いでもいるの？いいえ、身に覚えがないわね。
じゃあ管理局のサポート
Wow, I
だったり
wonder
し
who's
て。
helping me.
カリンたちだったらもっと早く渡したはずよ。
それもそうですね。念のために確認してみませんか？
I nod, and Level picks up my call shortly afterward. I tell her about the work ID.
あら、私がそんなむやみにサプライズを送るように見える？今持ってる情報は全て渡した。そのカードだけど
Level pauses.
詳細は言えないけど、私も似たような感じで助けられたことがある。とりあえず人の好意は受け取ってあげてもいいんじゃない？
好意ね。
Token of goodwill. After hanging up, I inspect the ID again. The card is very well made, but there's nothing special about it. I sense that this card is definitely going to come in handy, so I tuck it away into my pocket and wait for the presentation to begin. 20 minutes before the summit.
お嬢様の出番は最後になります。発表の時間は30分。何かあれば合図してください。すぐに対処いたします。スライドもサーバーにアップロードしました。あとはリモコンのボタンを押すだけで大丈夫です。
Just read the
他に確認
script.
したいことはありますか？
ないわ。この程度天才科学者
Oh, that's a
オルフェ
nice
ル
dress.
ナ・ジラードに
I
と
like
っ
the
て
blue.
朝飯前よ。
Orphalum plants her hands on her waist and proudly raises her chin. She has a confident smile on her face, but a keen observer would note that her hands are trembling, and that there's a faint sheen of perspiration on her forehead.
ええ、当然でございます。失礼いたします。
Igla takes an elaborately stitched handkerchief out of her pocket and lightly dabs away the moisture on Orphalum's forehead, then takes out a mirror from a pouch and starts smoothing out the straps of Orphalum's dress.
ねえイグラ、私の髪乱れたりしてない？登壇するからには完璧な状態にしないと。
何も問題ありませんが、もう少し微調整させていただきます。
He really enjoyed this whole storyline, particularly because of Egg. Igla's hands move with a sculptor's touch, as if she's working with a soap bubble that might vanish at a breath. The look in her eyes isn't a mere professional diligence, but something closer to religious reverence.
あと少しで私の研究成果が世に
And I want Igla to tidy me up
ジラード
too.
の意向を世界に示してやるんだから。
ええ、全員がひれ伏すことでしょう。
ねえイグラ、時間が来るまでそばにいてくれる？緊張とかそういうのじゃないから。
Emotional support, Igla.
スケジュールを滞りなく進めるためよ。
いついかなる時もあなたのそばにいるのが私の務め。そして誉れですよ。
じゃあさっきはどこにいたの？すごく待ったんだから。確かにイグラの目を盗んで抜け出したけどさ、こんな日に遅刻するなんてあなたらしくないわ。
申し訳ございません。不安要素を取り除きに行っており
From
ま
this
す。
shoes, eh?
招かれざる客がお嬢様の研究に分不相応に関心を向けていました。
またそういう連中が。ご苦労様イグラ。きっと私の成果を盗もうとしたに違いないわ。でもそれも今日で終わり。発表さえすればもう警戒する必要はないわ。
その通り。そしてお嬢様の名は
Your accomplishment shall take the world. Thanks to Igla's soothing words, Orphalum's tension has completely drained away. Just as she's about to continue preening, an unexpected visitor interrupts her.
これは
Hi, Zimmerman.
今夜は一段と綺麗だ。
A distinguished gentleman in a dapper suit strides into the room, a warm and affable smile on his face.
チマーマンおじさま。
こんばんは。
I love how Igla just automatically stands in front of her. Igla's face is perfectly composed, but her body shifts almost imperceptibly in order to put herself between Orpheloon and the newcomer.
相変わらずの警
So
戒者
protective.
窮地の中ではありませんか。まったく大した守護者よ。
それが私の務めです。
今日は来ないのかと思ってたわ。
議会は午前中に済ました。娘も同
Igla and Orpheloon are a fun combo.
見ぬわけにはいかないだろ。
いつ来たの？
少し前にな、会場を見て回ったよ。ところでオレクはこの大事な日に。
お父様は
The airheaded
大事な接点
Ojo-sama
が
with
あるって。
the wonderful, capable butler.
最初から期待してなかったし。
Nice
どう
pairing.
でもいいわ。
Orpheloon proudly raises her chin, pretending that it doesn't bother her.
竜陸おじ様が亡くなっていろいろドタバタしてるし、お父様も私にできるのは研究に専念することだって。
まさかリュウリックが財団に黙って不義理を働いていたとは誰も思うまい。
Yeah, to think that Rurik was doing such immoral things behind Gerard's back.
話が公になった瞬間、ジラードグループの株価は大幅に下落した。私にできることがあれば遠慮なく言えとオレクに伝えてくれ。ジラードとファルベンは運命共同体なのだから。お前が小さい頃からの付き合いだ。ここで見て見ぬふりをするわけにはいかない。
ジラードグループを代表して感謝申し上げます。ですがこの程度で基盤が揺らぐほど我々はヤワではありません。お嬢様の発表をもってジラード家の底力を世に知らしめることになるでしょう。
そうですか。これは今夜がますます楽しみだ。
Zimmerman's gaze shifts between Igla and Orpheloon, a subtle smile on his face.
ところで楽園計画はすでに第一段階の成果を公表する段階に至ったって。
ええ、それはもう大きな成果を得られたわ。今夜みんなをびっくりさせてやるんだから。
喜ばしいことだ。
Marvelous.
これで株価は安定し、財団のジラード家に対する信頼も取り戻せるだろう。あの幼かったオルフェルーネも一人前になって。
グループのことは私には関係ないわ。でも私は私の方法で研究でお父様の力になる。
はは、相変わらず真面目な子だ。
Right now I'm on part
誰が何
1.5.
と言おうとジラードの後継者はお前だ。遅かれ早かれ知っておかなければならないこともある。例えばお前の研究が財団を揺るがすやもしれぬと見ている者もいる。
お嬢様は純粋に学術のために研究を行っています。政治やビジネスに左右されるものではありません。
もちろん
She's a
そうい
pure
った精神は
lady
尊
of
重されるべきです。だが世の中は純粋なものほど脆い。イグラさん、それはあなたが一番よく知っているはずだ。
だからこそ守られるべきです。
面白い。しかし守るのにも力とリソースがいる。ジラードグループの現在の立場ではそれは難しいでしょう。
あなたの真意が何であれこれだけは言っておきます。私の役目は何があろうとジラード家
I believe in Igla protecting
お嬢
Orpheloon.
様を守ることです。
Igla's
忠誠は
tough.
美徳ですが賢さに変わるものはありません。あなたなら選択を間違えることはないと信じていますよ、イグラさん。
おじさま、
Orpheloon forcefully interrupts their subtle conversation.
会社のことがわからないからってバカにしないでくれる？オレク・ジラードの娘としてジラードグループは死守するわ。だからイグラを引き抜こうとしないで。おじさまのところにも第三世代人形がいるでしょ。イグラは私の助手よ。イグラがいなければ私は。
Orpheloon suddenly cuts herself off as though she's realized that she's said too much. She raises her chin again and throws up her facade of pride.
とにかくイグラは私の人形だから。
It was
いくら
mine.
おじさまでも渡したりしないわ。これから発表の準備をするから邪魔しないで。
Zimmerman seems to have anticipated Orphalune's reaction, and he laughs nonchalantly.
やはり若くして成功を収めるのはお前のような純粋な人間なのかもしれないな。邪魔して悪かった。発表頑張ってくれたまえ。ちゃんと見届けさせてもらうよ。
As Orphalune turns to head back to her dresser, Zimmerman suddenly addresses Igla, who has not yet departed, in a quiet voice.
じきに嵐が訪れる。あなただけでは嵐を守りきれないでしょう。懸命な
Choose wisely.
期待しています。
ご忠告感謝いたします。ですが私の選択は常に一つ。
Igla's voice is warm and deferential, but her gaze is as sharp as a razor of ice.
まだ準備がありますので失礼いたします。サミットを存分にお楽しみください。
After I finish assigning surveillance positions to the dolls in the lounge, I check my watch. It seems like it's about time. The summit is already halfway through by the time I exit the lounge and reach the conference center. One botanical researcher after another takes the stage is scattered, then swelling applause. People are gathering in front of the lectern, occasionally exchanging a few words. I signal to Groza and Kolf, then silently blend into the crowd.
ありがとうございました、タレスさん。お次は植物学の期待の新星、そして楽園計画の主導者、オルフェルーネ・ジラードさんです。皆様が最も気になるであろう楽園計画の詳細を公表していただくと同時に、ご質問にもお答えいただけます。
After a round of applause, Orphalune graciously takes the stage. Perhaps it's because I only just saw another side of her this afternoon, but the Orphalune who has just revealed herself takes me by surprise. She's wearing an exquisitely made haute couture evening gown, her golden blonde hair neatly styled, exuding elegance and class with every move she makes. She's nothing like the cultish girl I saw on the balcony this afternoon. With a slight raise of her chin, she regards the entire audience with a look that could almost be considered arrogance, then bends into a graceful bow before beginning to speak.
こんばんは、オルフェルーネ・ジラードです。今夜我々がここに集まったのは、科学者である以前により良い未来を求める探求者でもあるからです。そしてまさに今この瞬間から新しい時代が始まろうとしています。緑の浄化者である植物にはまだまだ驚くべき秘密が隠されていたのです。
最初に皆様にお伺いします。植物に放射線を吸収する能力はあると思いますか？やっぱり原稿をそのまま読んでいる。
Orphalune is the undisputed center of the venue's attention. The researchers, the businessmen, the journalists, everyone is listening intently, looking forward to how her words will change the world. Radioactive particle absorption through large-scale planting, improving purification zone efficiency at a lower cost. Those grand declarations do sound very promising, but all these are definitely not the true aim of Project Eden. That said, what is its true aim? All the research she's mentioned so far sounds a lot like the operating principles of collapsed epiphyllums. Could it have something to do with Paradeus' upcoming moves? Are the Gerard Group's attempts to kidnap Helena part of Project Eden too? I suddenly realize I simply have too few clues about what's going on. And hello. Even if Nolfa and I managed to find a few traces of it, I'm still clueless about the Gerard Group's upcoming plans. Orphalune continues her preparation beneath the spotlights. The audience's interest is steadily rising as she continues, and everyone is eagerly looking at the young scholar before them.
私たちは無意識に汚染エリアの浄化は果てしなく困難なものだと思い込んできました。しかし技術の進歩とともにより確実で安定した、そして低コストの方法で人類が領土を取り戻す可能性が芽生えました。植物という古来より存在する生命の力を借りて未来を切り開くのです。皆様のご期待に応えるべく2日後に楽園計画の第一段階を実行いたします。
Oh, beginning in 2 days,
そしてこ
damn,
の
that's
計
fast.
画のもたらす変化を全リビューが見届けることでしょう。あ
Was
り
it
がとうござ
good?
いました。
オルフェルーネさん、オルフェルーネさん、 質問よろしいでしょうか。
計画は2日後に実行するとのことですが、
ジラードグループの株価に楽園計画がどのように影響すると思いますか？
As the journalist begins searching for it, the previously serene venue boils over in an instant. I approach the lectern in the company of my peers and notice that Orpheloon, who's about to leave, has an annoyed look on her face. He gestures to Igla, who's standing beside her. Fortunately, the host manages to hold off the throng of journalists.
記者会見は30分後 B ブロック内で行われます。入場の際は特別招待状をご提示ください。オルフェルーネさん、ありがとうございました。
After Orpheloon leaves, I hear a ripple of dissent around me.
またか。骨を持ってるやつも特権だな。
目の前にスクープがあるのにいつもこうだ。メディアの暗
Through
黒
the
時代だよ。
darkest hour of my journalist
やめ
career.
だやめだ。帰って記事を仕上げるぞ。日付が変わる前に入稿すればうちが一番乗りになれ
Heck,
る。
they got a lot of information from other people too. Don't gotta write about Orpheloon. The journalists around me begin to disperse as their interest ebbs. Once things around me settle down, I head to a corner and take out the work ID labeled Special Invitation.
ここで使うのか。
While its scary third-gen dolls already warned me about this, it seems I'll have to disregard her advice. If Project Eden is really going to begin in 2 days like Orpheloon said, then I'll need to figure out what exactly this project is about within those 2 days. Currently, my situation is like being adrift in a boundless ocean, so I need to seize on anything I can find, even if it's just a little plank of driftwood. After briefly considering my next moves, I share my thoughts with the dolls, so they're ready to act at any time. Then I grip the work ID in my hand and walk towards the building at the center of the corridor.
こちらが記者会見の待機所となります。ここでお待ちください。
はい。
To my surprise, I actually managed to use this dubious work ID to get into this specially designed preview area. Although the press conference hasn't begun yet, I can tell that I'm the only one who doesn't belong here. All the journalists here seem to know each other. They're sitting at pre-arranged seats and whispering to each other.
初めてか。
Like, who's this newbie? I turn and realize that the other guy is speaking to me.
ええ。
そう警戒するな。お互いあのお嬢様の独壇場の賑やかし要員だからな。
そうですね。
株は買ったか？
株？
ああ。まさか買ってないのか？こんながっぽり稼げるチャンスはめったにないぞ。この記者会見が終わればジラードグループの株価はうなぎ登り間違いなしだ。このタイミングであのお嬢様を出して信用と名誉回復に利用したというわけさ。記者会見では多分この前のワクチン事件とジラードグループの
The supporter just wants to make money.
質問が飛び交うだろうな。
オルフェルーネという看板を宣伝するために。
分かってるじゃないか。あんた仕事は？
記者ですが。
I'm a journalist.
おいおい
Yeah, I'm legit an actual journalist.
珍しいな。こりゃジラードはちゃんとイメージ改善に努めないとな。いいか、空気を読めない質問はするんじゃないぞ。俺は今日ここに来るために全てを投げ出
He's
した。
betting everything. Oh, well, he's either gonna make bank or lose it all. Oops. He pats me on the shoulder and returns to his seat. As the press conference draws closer, my surroundings gradually quiet down. Orpheline shows up on time. However, there's a hint of distaste on her face compared to how she looked at her presentation just now. While she retains the same haughty attitude, her gaze keeps sweeping the audience as though she's looking for something. Igla stands faithfully by her side with a prim and alert expression on her own face. After the host announces the beginning of the conference, the journalists around me all raise their hands. The questions are all meticulously crafted, just like what that man from before said. Each syllable from Orpheloon's lips will move the market needles, influencing the position of the Gerard Group in the industry and the market. But what of Orpheloon herself? Did she memorize an utterly boring script before the press conference started, just like what she was doing on the rooftop balcony this afternoon, rehearsing the answers to potential questions? And what about me? Someone gave me this ID. What do they want me to find? Or rather, what do they want me to change?
ご質問は以上でよろしいでしょうか。
Orpheloon stands to one side. She seems relieved. Meanwhile, her eyes are still sweeping the venue, searching for something. Nobody else is raising their hand.
それでは終わりに。
Time to raise my hand. Hey, Orpheloon, what did you have for lunch today?
待ってください。
Everyone turns to look at me in surprise. Right as she's about to leave, Orpheloon stops and turns to look at me. A hint of surprise crosses her eyes.
あなたはさっきバルコニーにいた。
オルフェルーネさん、質問よろしいでしょうか。
Orpheloon ignores the host's attempts to stop her and takes a few steps forward. Igla immediately tenses up, but Orpheloon gestures to her to relax.
喜んでお答えします。
少し前に簡単なインタビューをさせていただいたと思うのですが、そこで私はあなたが研究している植物と似たようなものを見たと言いました。それは
Oh no, it's making you use a new thing now.
野生エリアで大量に発見され、その後人工栽培が試みられた植物です。
But yay for good lunch.
その名はコーラップスエピフィラム。この植物はコーラップス粒子を吸収放出する特性を持ち、レッドエリアで幾度となく目撃されました。しかしエピフィラムの存在はなぜか隠蔽されており、ロレンやジラードグループが公表した資料には
Do we be seeing all this?
あなたの発表内容とエピフィラムには共通点がいくつもあるように思います。
あなたどうしてそこまで。
教えてください。あなたの研究とエピフィラムに関連性はありますか？それは楽園計画の核心となる技術なのではないですか？
As I ask my question, the host is already speaking into the walkie-talkie in his hand. Shortly afterwards, several Gerard Group security personnel entered the room and swiftly approached my position.
すみません。事
Ah.
前にお知らせした範囲以外の質問はご遠慮願います。
Orpheloon's hands tighten around the microphone she's holding. She seems to be hesitating. Her gaze is wavering, and occasionally she glances at Igla, who's standing behind her. Meanwhile, I ignore the host's attempts to stop me and continue addressing Orpheloon.
オルフェルーネさん、
This
私はあな
research
たの
was
研
top
究に
secret.
大変興味があります。
Song Sky is now regretting going all in.
あなたの植物に対する造形はこの程度じゃない。あなたの本当の研
Ew,
究を
I hate that productivity thing that you want to do when you're working. It tracks your time.
本当のインタビューを
Why did it stop though? It's weird.
あなたに必要なのはあなたをマスコット扱いする人間ではなく、あなたのことを科学を
Oh, this is going to be our way of seducing Orpheloon. Don't you want someone who truly appreciates what you're doing, or understands what you're doing? The summoned security guards have already reached me. I know that if Orpheloon does not wish to proceed further, then the mission will be a complete failure. There's probably no better opportunity to approach a scientist as heavily protected as her than today. Ooh, before Pardeus, research on collapse of the film was done by an illegal relic research group. Ah! And Priscilla originally worked there. A hulking guard gestures for me to leave. I'm not exactly thrilled to be going, but this isn't a good place to get violent. All I can do is follow the guards and prepare to depart. Several long seconds later, Orpheloon holds out a hand to stop the guards. Her eyes are shining, and she has a stubborn look on her face. She descends from the stage and runs over to me.
本当に純粋に私の研究に興味があるの？株価とか
She's
市場とか
interested.
そういうのじゃなくて。
She's like, wow, someone who finally understands me and doesn't care about daddy's money.
はい。私は科学者としてのあなたを知りたい。ジラードグループの令状や若き天才という看板ではなく。
やっぱりあなたは他の植物とは違うと思ってたわ。
お嬢様。
Oh, and the group was run by William's dad. Igla follows closely behind Orpheloon and whispers into her ear. After realizing her faux pas, Orpheloon quickly resumes her previous attitude.
本日はご来場いただきありがとうございました。それでは失礼いたします。
Before the host can continue, Orpheloon grabs me by the sleeve and drags me backstage. The first person she met who's interested in her and most importantly her research. Much to Igla's chagrin. Sorry, Igla. After going behind the curtains, Orpheloon warily glances outside. After ensuring that we will not be interrupted, she continues speaking to me in an excited voice. And wow, bringing me backstage first thing.
エピフィラムの生態まで知ってるの？同僚でも知ってる人はそんなにいないのに。じゃあ私のやりたいことも分かってるわよね？
いえ。
やっぱり待って、心の準備ができてなかった。そうね、こうしましょう。あなたの質問何でも答えるわ。でもそれは今じゃないし、俗物たちの前で話すことでも
Ooh,
な
we're
い。
gonna have a secret
明
meetup.
日独占インタビューを手配してあげる。
Special interview.
私の実験室で
And at her lab?
それまで
Oh
に聞きたい
my.
ことまとめてきなさいよね。期待してるから。私の研究は株価を上げるだけの道具じゃないってことは世間に理解させて。
ありがとうございます。ご期待に添えるよう尽力します。
Right now, I'm leaning towards Orphalune just wanting to do science. Doesn't know it's being used for evil. Orphalune raises her chin proudly, but she can't keep the corner of her mouth from turning up. She turns to whisper something to Eagle's ear. Eagle's expression immediately turns complex, but in the end, she nods respectfully. Then Eagle turns and addresses me in an extremely polite tone.
弊社広報担当の連絡先です。明日のスケジュールについては彼にご確認ください。
Igla courteously hands me a card. I nod to her in gratitude as I receive it. Orphalune waves to me with a satisfied look on her face, then turns to leave. Igla follows behind her, but before she goes... Oops. Right now, I'm liking Orphalune and Igla, which means I'm dooming them by liking them. Actually, no, it'll be fine. Rebuttal of Awakening. The fourth step is when the final rebirth and unification is attained. Or is it? Finally fighting. Fighting on the way to my special interview date. The next day,
編集長、着いたわ。
after stepping out of the limo that the Gerard group arranged for us, we find ourselves in front of a white office building. It's inside a science park on the outskirts of Lviv, and it stands out by being the sole towering structure in the vast park area.
ここか。思ったより質素ね。
ええ、とてもああいう実験をしている場所には見えないわ。
楽園計画の研究所はまさに楽園だった。見出しはこれでどうですか？
Isn't it romantic?
記事を書くわけじゃないんだから。
No, we are writing an article, legit.
大事ですよ。
I look at the time. I look at the time. We set out early to avoid any complications, and so the time right now is 9:40 a.m., 20 minutes from the appointed interview time.
まだ時間があるけど、このまま入る。
ええ、早いに越したことはない。待たせるのは失礼だからね。行こう。
I have the dolls grab the equipment, and we enter the office building.
こんにちは。お約束でいらっしゃいますか？
オルフェルーネさんの独占インタビューです。時間は10時ちょうど。
The staffer looks at the paper and grows his hand and carefully checks it in his system.
輝きの時代、人間1名、人形2名。問題ありません。どうぞお入りください。
The staffer opens the barrier gate at the entrance.
こちらでしばらくお待ちください。すぐにご案内いたします。はい。
I lead the dolls to the designated reception area, where you take a seat. The inside of the lab is a lot livelier than its exterior would imply. In addition to busy researchers, each floor has its own assistants, which keeps the lab running in an orderly manner.
思ったより大きいわね。この研究所。
わお、ビリューに来てから驚きの毎日です。こんな豪華な建物が実験室なんですね。
ええ、それにしても変ね。入り口に検査ゲートがないし、職員も自由に出入りしている。
I look at the floor plan in the reception area. It says that this building has 3 floors, with 4 rooms in each. According to the floor plan, the first floor contains a main lounge and various public facilities. The second floor has a lab area and sample storage, while the entire third floor is an office space for Orphalune.
外から見ている2班によれば、屋上にさらに2つ、標識のない大きな施設があるそうよ。
大きな施設か。もしかして前に見たパラデウスの施設と似たようなもの？
I guess we'll find out.
まだわからないわ。
なら調べるしかないわね。
Halfway through observations of the building, the surgeon summoned descends from the floor above.
輝きの時代の皆様。
Hi,
お待ちして
Igla.
おりました。
こんにちは、イグラさん。
Igla dips her head in a polite nod, but the weariness in her eyes does not diminish in the least. Clearly, my stunt with Orpheloon in the press conference last night has put her on guard again.
お嬢様はあなたのお越しを大層楽しみにされていました。
Igla's tone is polite and restrained, but with a hint of warning in her voice is plainly evident. She is carrying a large box, and I wonder if it contains some sort of powerful weapon. The dolls notice it as well and carefully study every move Igla makes, ready for battle any moment. However, Igla seems completely uninterested in the actions of my assistants. She glances at them briefly, then walks right up to me.
20分早めに来られたのですね。
はい。兵士にとってとても大事な取材ですので。
早すぎると迷惑になる可能性は考慮しなかったのですね。あなたの部下にはコンプライアンス
Your assistants need more professional training. Ugh.
過度な時間前行動は人生の無駄とは思いません。
Ouch. She's judging us so hard right now. She's like, are you really worthy of my Orpheloon? Igla's gaze sweeps casually over Groza and settles on my face.
申し訳ありません。私の基準をそちらに当てはめてしまったようです。お嬢様のスケジュールは私
Oh yeah, she's judging hard.
少しの乱れも許されません。現在は朝食の時間です。インタビューは予定通り10時開始でよろしいですか？
ええ、もちろん。
Igla seems pleased by my response. She gestures for me to follow her.
その前に私の方から研究所をご案内させていただきます。記事の内容に必要でしょう。
Wow, a personal tour by Igla.
ロビーになっております。通常、お嬢様や他の研究員への取材はここで行われます。ですがあなたは重要な客人なので、今回は特別にお嬢様のオフィスへご案内いたします。
Wow, we get special office access.
正直、これほどインタビューを楽しみにしているお嬢様は見たことがありません。どうしてあなたにこれほどの興味が湧いたのか。教えて
How have you seduced my
私には
Ojo-sama?
わかりません。ただ確かなのは、科学者としての彼女を見ている人間はほぼいなかったのでしょう。
I sense a hint of caution in her eyes. Her demeanor is flawless, her wariness of me is not faded in the least. Igla brings us to the second floor in silence. Along the way, she tells us that this floor is the core research area of the facility and features independent identity verification systems. Only visitors who have received Orpheloon's approval are allowed to enter. The biosafety labs within are performing the core research tasks for Project Eden, and they have been the subject of much interest from competitors ever since the project began.
ええ。そしてそういった不埒な輩を遠ざけるのが私の役目です。
Igla gives me a meaningful look. I turn to look in the direction Igla's pointing and feign innocence.
この先がお嬢様のオフィスになります。
We climb the broad staircase and arrive at the third floor. I check the time. It's 10 o'clock exactly. Igla verifies identities in front of the big glass door, which then slides open. The sound of something shattering comes from inside, followed by a panicked yelp.
イグラ助けて。この機械全然言うこと聞かない。
Oh no! We rush in and find Orpheloon standing in front of a complex-looking device. The interior of the room is a mess, and the floor is covered in glass shards and a toppled test tube rack.
お嬢様。
So clumsy. Igla rushes forward and swiftly clears up the mess on the ground. Her movements are fast and precise, as though she's long used to such scenarios. She is.
10分目を離しただけでまたご自分で操作されたのですか？
最新の実験データをまとめようとしたのに、開発部の連中絶対また設定をいじったに違いないわ。
Orpheloon turns to look at me, and her expression immediately turns to stone. Her long blonde hair is a mess, and her lab coat buttons are fastened incorrectly. She looks nothing like that noble, poised scientific genius described in her file. Orphalune quickly stumbles a few steps back and almost trips on the shards on the ground. Fortunately, Igla reacts swiftly and catches her.
あなたたち確か10時に来るはずじゃ。イグラ、なんで教えてくれなかったの？
ただいま10時ちょうどでございます。お嬢様。
嘘。
Orphalune's eyes snap to the clock on the wall, and her expression goes from surprise to frustration before quickly shifting to deliberate haughtiness.
まあいいわ。許してあげる。寛大な私に感謝しなさい。
She quickly sorts out her clothing, straightens up, and tries to regain a sense of dignity. Her lab coat is still rumpled and misbuttoned.
お嬢様、失礼します。
Igla produces a new lab coat and a kit bag from the big box she was carrying around, and begins giving Orphalune a high-speed makeover. Like, Igla, why did you tell me it was almost 10? I'm not ready for my date with the interviewer. Orphalune obediently stands still and lets Igla fuss over her like a mother hen with her chick.
早く、お客さんが待ってるでしょ。
I'll keep them waiting.
はい、お嬢様。
Igla's movements are swift and practiced. In less than a minute, Orphalune looks good as new.
バッチリね。
Once again, Igla begins picking up the scattered lab equipment and documents. Every move she makes looks like it's been precisely calculated to not waste the slightest bit of time or energy. Orphalune clears her throat, then turns to me, her face a mask of deliberate pride and confidence.
ようこそ私の実験室へ。このオルフェルーネ・ジラードが直々に出迎えたのだから光栄に思いなさい。
ええ、お時間を作っていただきありがとうございます。
ちゃんと礼儀をわきまえてるようね。やっぱり俗物たちとは違うわ。
Orphalune looks me up and down, her gaze is both curious and judgmental.
昨日から考え続けてたわ。どうして私の研究をそこまで理解してるの？普通の記者なんか最低限の用語すら覚えられないのよ。
お嬢様、こちらは輝きの時代誌の編集長です。取材経験も知識量も波の記者を上回って当然です。
そんなの分かってるわよ。
Igla seems used to Orphalune's little flare-ups. She simply nods and continues restoring order to the chaos on the floor.
で、何から始めようかしら。今までだと写真撮影とかもあったけど。
そうですね。撮らせていただきます。
I give Kof a look. She quickly moves in front of Orphalune and raises her camera.
少々お待ちを。
Upon seeing Kof point her camera shudder at Orphalune, Igla hurries over to touch up Orphalune's looks once again. Helps properly fasten her lab coat, and then discreetly steps out of the frame.
撮影した写真はすべてチェック。
Wow, and she's gonna choose the best ones too.
一番写りの良い写真のみ掲載を許可します。
He's like, you can only publish the ones that I approve of.
どの角度から見ても完璧でしょ。
ここで提案なのですが、いつもと違うオルフェルーネさんを見せてはいかがでしょうか。オルフェルーネさんはエリートとしての印象が定着しています。ギャップを見せた方が親近感を持たれやすいでしょう。
いいわね。
Let's give her some gap moe.
いいかしら。
ジラードグループのイメージに
No
ふさわ
gap
しくあ
moe?
りません。
Fine. After seeing the dejected look on Orphalune's face, Igla quickly adds on to her previous statement.
ですが、お嬢様がそこ
And
まで
ooh,
おっしゃ
thank you
る
for
な
the
ら試してみてもいい
subscription.
でしょう。
For the gotcha look. With their permission, Kof does as I said and takes several pictures of Orphalune. After the shoot, Igla examines the contents of Kof's camera as agreed. Orphalune takes advantage of her distraction to suddenly approach me.
ねえねえ、今日ずいぶん早く着いたらしいじゃない？
はい。こちらも誠意を見せねばと思いまして。
いい心がけね。こんなにインタビューが楽しみなのは久しぶりよ。コーヒー飲む？私が入れてあげてもいいわよ。
Coffee, please.
お嬢様。
Why is her coffee
大丈夫、
cursed?
一人でできるわ。子供扱いし
I'll
ない
take
で。
it. How bad can it
で
be?
は、いただきます。
いいの？
断る理由がありません。
今までの人はなんやかんや断ってたのに。
Is her coffee really that bad? Orphalune seems surprised that I said yes. For some reason, it makes me panic a little.
失礼ですが、 コーヒーメーカーを使用されたことは
I mean, it can't be as bad as macchiatos, right?
イグラからいろいろ教わったわ。細かいことはたまに忘れるけど。
Orphelin confidently heads over to the drinks counter and Igla's expression grows tense. However, she merely keeps her distance. It seems she wants to see if Orphelin can actually pull this task off on her own.
何がいい？ちなみにラテ
Ooh,
が
I love lattes.
ではラテで
Orphelin nods and heads over to the fridge before taking out a carton of milk and dumping it into the coffee machine.
オルフェルーネさん、そこはミルです。
また忘れた。これ豆入れるとこだったわよね。開発部の連中もっとわかりやすく設計できないの？
I've taken macchiatos and persicarios. I'm ready. I doubt the R&D division built this coffee machine. Did they?
今度こそ覚えたわ。
After carefully pondering the situation, Orphelin finally manages to add the milk to the right compartment. Right after that, she engages the grinder. After some humming, the coffee powder sprays out of the nozzle.
これでどう？
Yeah, good job, Orphelin.
いいわ。
Just as Orphelin is about to put the ground coffee under the tamper, the coffee machine suddenly starts up without any warning, spraying the ground coffee powder everywhere. Most of it ends up in Orphelin's brand new lab coat. After seeing Orphelin's predicament, Igla sighs, but her eyes are filled with a doting kindness. She quickly steps up to take the various implements from Orphelin's hands.
お嬢様、やはり私が汚れて
She's
しま
like,
い
"Aw,
ま
my
した。
silly daughter.
後で
Let me take care of you." Clumsy, clumsy Ojo-sama. A look of defeat and shame crosses Orphelin's face for a moment, but it soon transforms into one of stubborn pride.
手が滑っただけよ。ちょっとミスっただけじゃない。
そうですね。すぐに新しい白衣をお持ちします。
Orphelin seems used to Igla's pampering and silently accepts this arrangement. Igla takes yet another lab coat out of her huge box. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice that the box, which seems to have originally been intended to transport weapons, is instead filled with various articles of folded clothing. It's immediately obvious that they were all prepared for Orphelin. Once again, Igla changes out Orphelin's lab coat with practiced ease before quickly brewing a latte and handing it to me.
どうぞ。お嬢様がわざわざご用意されたコーヒーです。
入れたのイグラでしょ。
お嬢様の指示で入れたのですから。実質お嬢様が入れたも同然。
とにかく飲んでみて。
I want the latte. I take the coffee and sip from the cup. It's really good.
おいしい。
Yum!
当たり前でしょ。私は一番いいものしか出さないんだから。
Orphelin smiles smugly, as though she was the one who had made the coffee herself. Igla shakes her head gently, but her eyes are filled with tenderness.
さあ、本題に入りましょう。今日はどんな感じ？
This is
お
cute.
嬢様の作業環境の撮影後、楽園計画の方向性についてお答えいただく予定です。
それって今までと同じじゃない。そういうの飽きた。研究のことを知るなら、やっぱり実験施設を見学した方が早いわ。
Yes, I want to review it directly.
しかし、この方々に権限は。
Come on, Igla. Orphelin ignores Igla's hesitation and instead turns to look at me.
今まで外部の人間を通したことなかったけど、興味ある？
もちろんです。今まで公開されなかった施設を切り口に研究所の特集を組めば、記事の信頼性も高まりますし、注目も集まることでしょう。見学させていただけるのなら、すべてのプラットフォームで大々的に取り扱う予定です。
I never would have expected Orphelin to actively suggest that we visit one of their research bases. I decided to accept the offer quickly before anyone can retract it. Looks like today's interview is going far more smoothly than expected.
お嬢様、施設の見学は予定にありません。勝手なことをすれば、理事会やオレク様への弁明が。
お父様には私から言っておくわ。この研究所の責任者は私よ。
Igla's face is as professional and calm as ever, but I can see the uneasiness in her eyes. However, in the face of Orphelin's determined attitude, all she can do is nod.
かしこまりました。
ほら ついてきなさい。科学がもたらす奇跡を見せてあげるわ。
One biometric security door after another opens it for Orphalune and allows us to enter the research base unimpeded. Eagle follows closely behind Orphalune. Her movements are as elegant and flowing as ever, but her eyes sweep the surroundings, paying particular attention to us visitors. After several rounds of tiresome identity verification procedures, we arrive at the roof mentioned by Group 2 before. However, I don't see anything sinister up here. In fact, a verdant expanse of greenery spreads out before me. The flourishing vegetation looks especially vigorous under the sunlight, and a little rainbow arcs through the spray of the irrigation sprinklers. Pretty. Orphalune stands to the side, looking upon the plants before her with a gaze akin to that of a proud parent.
見て、これが楽園計画のゆりかごよ。今リビウの実験畑を埋め尽くしてる植物の種は全部ここで生まれたの。
感慨深いですね。
それが植物の面白さよ。でも普通の人間はおろか、学会の年寄りですらその辺全然わかっていない。
Orphalune cocks her head smugly and gestures to one particular plant.
見えた？
Dears.
何を？
ロマンよ。
Clueless, I inspect the plant she's pointing at. Orphalune smiles at me, an excited gleam in her eye.
細胞シグナル伝達を非線形上微分方程式で表したとき、エピゲノムを3次元に展開して準安定状態の分子が並んだとき、光合成で量子がコヒーレント状態となり、
She really loves her plants.
非が見られたとき、異なる種が時間の経過とともにハウスドルフ次元で非線形システム的な変化が見られたとき、こういった一つ一つの瞬間にロマンを感じるのよ。
Ayla's watching from the side, a proud smile on her face, like a parent watching her child showing off her talent.
言いたいことわかるかしら？
This supervised date is funny.
いえ。
I shake my head. My brain not braining. You're pretty sure that was technobabble?
私にはあなたほどの知見も視野もありません。きっと私には見えないものが見えるのでしょ
I
う。
see pretty plant.
ですが、私にも科学者の友人がいます。科学のもたらす恩恵が人類の輝かしい未来を切り開いていることを実感しています。
私の言ってること理解不能で無価値だと思わないの？
それを大衆に分かりやすく伝えるのが我々の役目です。科学者を相手にするとつい小難しい話に目が行きがちですが、本当に見るべきはその科学者の夢なのです。
Wow, we're the best
科学は夢を
journalists.
叶える手段でしかない。そしてその夢こそが評価の基準となるべきです。あなたは植物そのものだけでなく、植物がこの世界を変える可能性にロマンを感じているのでしょう。
そのありがとう。
Oh, we really are raising her affection
私を分かっ
meter.
てくれる人が現れた。
正直な感想を述べたまでです。
この研究を始めてから便乗しようとする人間が後を絶たなかった。兵器開発に利用するもの、果ては家族まで私を客寄せパンダとしか扱わなかった。グループやお父様の力にはなりたい。でもあの人たちの目には利益しか映っていない。私の夢なんか。
There's an undercurrent of fragility in Orphalune's voice, but she instantly recovers her former pride.
でももういいわ。理解者がいなくても私はここまで来れた。
Orphalune leads me to an isolation chamber, and she pushes a button inside it, which seems to activate some kind of device. However, there is no visible change outside the chamber after the activation.
今のは
コーラプス粒子を放出して室内の放射線量を上げたわ。思ったより薄い反応ね。今までの人間だったらさっきの話を聞いた瞬間に逃げ出すのに。
鈍感な人間ですので。
そう？変な人。でも安心しなさい。ここは安全よ。この私がそんな自殺行為するわけないでしょ。
The instrument displays inside the isolation chamber indicate that the equipment is indeed functioning normally under Orphalun's operation.
お嬢様、実験を長引かせるとこの後の予定に響きます。
もう心配しなくてもちゃんと時間を見てるわ。
Ela does not press the issue. Instead, she stands silently on the sidelines, remaining vigilant and ready to respond to any potentially dangerous situations. I look at the plants on the test plot. After being exposed to radioactive particles, the leaves slowly open, and soft buds emerge at the end of their stems. This is followed by the buds blooming one after another, revealing flowers that look like they came out of some fever dream. The colors of the petals are like the sprinkler rainbows, changing with the angle of observation. The instrument displays indicate that the particle density is falling as the flowers bloom. Just as the flowers fully bloom, Orphalun presses another button. It looks like it's connected to some kind of energy collection device. The moment Orphalun presses the button, a flare of light fills the greenhouse, following which a holographic display comes to life. Its contents constantly shift, like it's showing off the development process of a large future city. The scene goes from a set of radiated ruins to a series of high-rise buildings skyrocketing from the ground, dense green forests spreading between the buildings until they cover the entire globe.
見た？これが楽園計画の導く未来よ。今見たホログラムデモンストレーションで消費した電力は1メガワット時。すべて植物が放射線を吸収したことによって生まれたエネルギーよ。私が作った品種は地中の装置を介して直接発電施設とつながってる
This sounds nice so far. So how's it gonna go bad?
運用規模によって畑の面積を調整すればその地域のコーラップス粒子を電気に変えられるってわけ。楽園計画が順調に進めばリビウ周辺の実験畑だけでも毎日5000メガワット時の電力が賄えるわ。それがどういうことかわかるわよね。
リビウ全体の消費電力に等しい。
そう、私の研究はエネルギー分野に革命を起こすの。成功した暁には
This does sound
私
very
を嘲
nice.
笑った年寄りたちがこぞってひれ伏すに違いないわ。
As I listen to Orphalun's explanation, I'm reminded of Persica's remolding pattern technology. But it's just the recreation of the technology Persica was using. This so-called Project Eden doesn't seem particularly harmful. But is that really all? Is everything she told me today really the truth? Orphalun doesn't seem to have realized my suspicions and continues speaking.
今公表されているのは第一段階、すなわち植物による放射線除去。でもいずれは新しい生態系を築いてリビウの再生どころか世界中の環境改善も夢じゃない。汚染エリアのコーラップス粒子濃度は大幅に低下し、グリーンエリアとホワイトエリアのエネルギーコストも削減されるわ。私がロレンを本当の楽園に導くのよ。見くびった人も全員見返して、そしてフランクフルトに戻っ。
Orphalun seems to realize that she's made a slip of the tongue and falls silent.
そういえばあなたはフランクフルト事件の生き残りらしいですね。
ええ、留学先だったわ。そこであの事件に死ぬかと思った。でも幸運にも生き延びた。
そんな辛い経験をされているのになぜ戻ろうと思うのですか？
あの時見たのよ。
お嬢様。
I want to hear what she saw. Come on, Igla. Just as Igla's about to stop Orphalun from speaking, her communicator suddenly rings. She frowns and glances down at it, but in the end, she turns away to take a call.
かしこまりました。
どうしたの？
申し訳ございません。緊急な用事です。
またグループで何かあったの？いっつも肝心な時に。イグラは私の助手なのに。
シルロビグ様直々のご連絡です。急を要すると。
シルロビグ。
Orphalun's expression softens a little when she hears that name.
じゃあ仕方ないわね。よろしく伝えといて。
はい。他の助手に本日の予定を伝えましたので、残りは彼女に。私がいないからといって許可なく実験を行ったり部外者を奥のエリアへ案内しないでください。
わかったわよ、子供じゃないんだから。
何かあればすぐ私にお知らせください。何があってもすぐに駆けつけます。
There's clear worry in Igla's voice, and the concern in her eyes is apparent as she looks at Orphalun.
わかったわかった、早く行って。
Igla turns to look at me, and the fleeting gentleness is gone.
編集長、本日はありがとうございました。引き続き具をわきまいた行動を
Some lines that should not be crossed,
お
huh?
嬢様の身に何か起きればすぐ私の方に連絡が行きます。くれぐれもお忘れなく。
Thanks though, Igla bows and turns and strides away.
やっと行った。イグラにはお世話になりっぱなしだけど、時々本当にうるさいのよね。
ところでシルロビグさんは何者ですか？
ああ、グループの科学者兼私の友達よ。
Orphalun shrugs and doesn't linger on the topic.
さて、イグラもいないし、好きなだけ喋りましょう。
Orphalun visibly relaxes. She even pumps her fists in excitement, like a child who's finally escaped her guardian. After turning off the equipment, Orphalun and I exit the lab.
楽しすぎて一瞬だったわ。
私も同じです。オルフェルーネさんのスケジュールに影響がなければいいのですが。
いいのいいの、どうせいつものつまらない行事なんだから。あ、そうだ、記事が公開されたら SNS の反応を集めて送ってくれる？イグラに SNS を使うなって言われてるからアカウント持ってないのよね。
Sure. Yeah, should we publish this article? I suddenly feel a little guilty as I meet Orphalun's sincere gaze. While this interview is an important part of the fact-finding process, the fact remains that I'm still lying to her. Or can we make an article? Come on. I feel like we should be able to at least produce one. Legit. All I can do now is try to learn the truth ASAP, find Helena, and completely dismantle Paradeus' scheme. Speaking of Paradeus, based on my conversation with Orphalun today, she doesn't seem to know anything about Paradeus, and her understanding of collapsed epiphyllums remains at an application level. Her answers to my questions today also seem sincere enough. Based on her performance today, she doesn't strike me as someone who's given to putting on false pretenses. If she's really telling the truth, then is Paradise using her research and controlling elements in Lviv from the shadows? I find myself at a loss over whether I should believe what she just said.
オルフェルーネさん、最後に一つお伺いしても？
ええ、いいわ。
この研究で壁に当たったことはありますか？
壁？
前提としてあなたの能力を疑っているわけではありません。ただあなたのような若い科学者がたった一人でこれほどの実験を行っているとは。
Orphalun's expression suddenly turns complex. She bites her lip and looks like she's considering how to answer.
答えたら記事に書くの？
そうしてほしいですか？
We can keep this a secret between us. Orphalun hesitates. That fleeting weakness from before appears again, but vanishes instantly.
確かに他の人間から技術援助を受けたことはあるわ。親友のチルロビグ、
Chillovig's her best friend.
それから開発部のバカたち。けれど全体の構想、仮説、理論モデルの提唱から研究所の設立まで全部私一人の力よ。信じてくれないかもしれ
I
ないけ
wanna
ど、
believe she's a clumsy Ojo-sama. Orphalun pauses again, then takes a deep breath before continuing.
真理を見たわ。
The truth?
真理？
ええ。あの時目の前に真理が広がって、今私が理解しているすべてがあの時見たものなの。やっぱり変よね。今のオフレコでお願いね。
わかりました。
Some of the Paradeus Naitos were very convincing actors. Some have been under deep cover for years or longer as members of high society. Ooh. Oh man, then if she is acting, then poor Igla having to take care of her. While I don't understand what she's trying to say, I nod obediently, then begin packing up and prepare to leave. However, Orphalune picks up this moment to speak again.
あのさ、昨日の記者会見の後、お父様が電話をくれたわ。
But yeah, I
普
want
段はイグラに
a
電話を
clumsy
預けて待って
airheaded
たのに。
Ojo-sama.
すみません。もしかして私の件で。
違う。今はロレン政府の対応に追われて、私にかまけてる時間はない。じゃなきゃとっくに何か理由をでっち上げて、あなたを逮捕してたわ。脅かすつも
Please
りは
just be a
ないの。
silly Ojo-sama with
それだけリスクがあったのに、
an
この場に
evil
来てくれ
friend.
たことを感謝しているの。あなたと話して初めて誰かに理解される気持ちを知ったわ。今までずっとグループが当てたスポットライトの中で生きて若き天才科学者を演じてきた。ジラードグループの信用が失われた時の看板になるのが私に与えられた役目。もちろん一族の人間として当然の責任よ。お父様は全てを与えてくれた。研究所だってグループが出資したんだから。でもたまに思うのよ。ジラード家の令嬢じゃなくて普通の人として生まれて普通の科学者になった方が幸せなんじゃないかって。あの記者会見であなたは異質な存在だった。ああいう風に近づいてくるのは大抵企業スパイとかだから。でも直感であなたは信頼できると思った。その
She fell for us.
私たちどこかで会ったかしら。
ないと思います。
そう。じゃあ私の勘違いね。とにかく今日のことちゃんと広めてよね。
はい。必ずいい記事
Yeah,
に
I'll
し
do
ま
my
す。
best to write this article.
本当のあなたの姿を届けます。
ありがとう。でも私は同情なんかいらない。みんなに私の研究の価値を知ってもらいたいだけだから、そこは勘違いしないでね。
Before leaving, I bid Orphalune farewell. She waves and watches me leave. While I still find it hard to trust anyone at the moment, I'm starting to believe that Orphalune is truly unaware of Paradise's plans. My next task is to contact Lev and the others, share what I know with Nomfa, and let them conduct a more in-depth investigation. As for that little lady, I can only hope her wish comes true. The stand assistant escorts us outside the lab and then leaves. The Gerard Group vehicle that's here to pick us up is waiting outside the park area.
指揮官、次の指示は
What's next? Write up our article, clearly. Something about that lady Chiloveg, whom Orphalune and Igla mentioned, bothers me. From what Orphalune said about her, she sounds like a pretty important figure, that she's involved with Project Eden to some extent. Most importantly, I don't think just anyone could get Igla away from Orphalune's side, especially since I, whom Igla clearly didn't trust, would be with Orphalune. Assuming Orphalune really is innocent, could this Chiloveg be the one pulling the strings? What if she's been the one manipulating Orphalune from behind the scenes all this time? In that case, Orphalune's complete innocence would make sense, right? If so, then the place that Igla is going to now is very suspicious. I can't just let a good chance like this slip away from me.
2班にイグラの追跡をしてもらえない？
ええ、もうそうしてるわ。
よし。ならこちらは。
待って。2班から報告。武装勢力がここに接近中よ。
Eh? Which boom! Before I can take another step, a massive explosion comes from the lab behind us. Oh no! A grenade caves in part of the research building, and thick black smoke billows up from behind the structure. I can see the silhouettes of many people through the building's windows. The sounds of an intense gunfight can be heard from within.
クルーガーさんの言った通りか。狙いはあのお嬢様ね。
Yo, we're gonna rescue her and she's gonna love us even more.
2班は攻撃準備。
Heck yeah.
了解。
We must rescue the VIP Ojo-sama. Look out! They've got some nasty firepower! The enemy squad is well prepared. Engage with caution. Yes, caution, alright. Ooh, Igla's gonna be so mad. So if we can protect Orphalune, I think we're gonna gain some points with Igla, which means that when she becomes summonable, she's gonna come home for us instantly because of how good we are. She'll know that we're worth time. Orphalune.
想定通りの勝利です。本当はもう少し完璧に
Confirm. I wonder how Alva's doing. I hope Voymastina's okay right now since he's currently babysitting Helena. So right now I like Orphalune. Orphalune and Igla are adorable together. That was surprisingly cute. I didn't expect them to be so wholesome. The wonderful caretaking Igla. I like that. That's very nice. I will continue part 1.5 later though. Gonna get ready for some Common Rider. I want a protein shake. I was thinking of making myself a sandwich. Actually, wait. I'll stir the bread. I gotta see if the bread's good. If it's good, then maybe I'll make myself a quick peanut butter and honey sandwich. If not, a protein shake goes well, I guess. I have either not cookies and cream. I have strawberries and cream Premier Protein. I also have chocolate Premier Protein. I'm leaning towards chocolate right now. Chocolate sounds good. Or I could have both. I could have protein plus sandwich. But that feels like kind of like overkill. So, yeah. When it comes to the new ones... Ooh, it's tough between Igla and Orphalune. You know, I'll still go for Igla just because I want a capable butler type. Those are fun. I need one in my life. Yes, Igla just wanting what's best for her Jo-sama. And I think that's cute. I like that a lot. Oh, this is gonna be fun continuing Corposant. I'm sad I couldn't have gone through it when it first came out, but I'm glad that it was added permanently, so yay. Finally able to experience Peak. But yeah, I'll continue it later. Gonna eat a little snack for Common Rider. Either the sandwich or the drink, depending on the bread. Because we have some sweet bread from Costco. Hopefully it's still good, and if not, yeah, at least I have my backup. So that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and Pikachu luck. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. I also gotta see if Digimon Up is done with their maintenance. I wanna try summoning already.